A very good morning to all my dear students who are joining via Zoom and through YouTube. So, today is the second session of your pre-intensive course in English language. Before starting the lesson, I would like to wish you all the very best in your academic journey. And before starting, I would like to introduce myself. So, let me introduce myself to you. I am Miss Rashmi Purna, a temporary lecturer at Uvavellasa University in Department of English Language Teaching at Faculty of Management. So, you can see today's topic. So, you have joined with one previous session with our Head of Department, Miss Sachini Samarakon, and that was just an introduction to English language. So, today is the first day that you are joining for a lesson and this is your first lesson. So, I hope all of you can see the screen. So, it's parts of speech. Some of you may have heard about parts of speech, but some of you may not. So, let me start the lesson. Okay, so here you have a paragraph about parts of speech. First of all, I will give you a few seconds to read this silently and please make sure you don't unmute your microphones and please don't switch on your video as well. So, you can start reading this. I will give you a few seconds. Okay, my dear students, before coming into the lesson, before starting the lesson, I would like to ask you a question. Can you all tell me, any one of you can answer me, do you know about part of speech before? Have you heard about parts of speech before? If so, you can please answer and you can come up with answers as well, which means you can tell me what are parts of speech. Yes, any answers? Okay, students, okay, maybe you are excited because today is the first lesson. Okay, I will start. So, we will start with the paragraph. The words in English language can be divided into different categories. So, which means we have many words, more than like 500,000 of words in English language. So, these words can be categorized into different groups. Okay, so those groups are called parts of speech, and today what you are going to learn is these groups. So, first of all, look at this. These word categories are called parts of speech or word classes. So, which means we can call parts of speech also word classes. So, it is interesting to find that a certain word class has thousands of words while another word class has only a few words. So, I hope you got it. The grammar rules state that words that belong to a particular word class can only be used in a specific position in a sentence. Okay, students, now look at here. Now, I hope you all may have studied at school. To make an English sentence, you know there's a structure. The structure is subject, verb, and then object. Okay, so you have some more structures. Okay, I'll first come up with this structure: subject, verb, object. So, you know there are many parts of speech. So, there is a position for each part of speech. So, you can't put any word where you want. There is a structure. So, you have to make a sentence according to a structure. So, that is what you are going to learn today, and also you will learn all parts of speech today. So, for better understanding of English language, we need to know all these parts of speech or else the word classes. So, remember, a synonym for parts of speech is word classes. Okay, so I will move on and you can see an image here. So, that presents the some parts of speech in English language, and the parts of speech that you are going to learn today. So, I will move on. Okay, so here you have a diagram. So, these are the parts of speech that you are going to learn, and as we have limited time, as we have only 2 hours, I am going to explain only 4 parts of speech. Normally we categorize parts of speech into 2 main groups, so that you will learn when I am like moving on. So, today you are going to learn only about the first group. So, I will give a brief introduction or a brief like definition for each and every parts of speech I have mentioned in this diagram. So, first we have nouns. You know, at school and maybe at your classes you have learned that nouns are words that describe a place, not describe actually, that may be a place, a person, or else a thing. So, it can also be an idea, or else sometimes it can be a thought, an action as well. So, you will learn how why I said that when we come to the lesson nouns. Okay, so then verbs. Verbs are actions that you know. Verbs are actions, and verbs we can divide into few categories that also you will learn today. And when it comes to adjectives, adjectives are words that describe these nouns. So, by using an adjective we can always describe or modify or further explain a noun. And adverbs, what are adverbs? Adverbs means these adverbs always help us to modify or describe verbs, especially verbs, and then also adjectives, and again another adverb. An adverb can modify or describe another adverb as well. So, remember that. Pronouns. So, we have different pronouns like subject pronouns, object pronouns, and then possessive pronouns, and again reflexive pronouns. So, when it comes to these subject pronouns, you know, can you give me an answer? Yeah, what are subject pronouns? Anyone who can give me the answer? What are subject pronouns? Yes, are you all silent? Can you give me an answer? What is a subject pronoun? So, have you heard about the subjects I, you, she, he, it, we, and they? So, these subjects we call them subject pronouns. So, remember. And we have also object pronouns, which means we can replace an object with the use of these object pronouns. So, they are, what are object pronouns? Me, okay, you may have heard me, you, okay, him. So, those are object pronouns. And then the possessive pronouns are my, which means you possess something, you own something. When you want to say that this is my book, you say it's my book, my. You use the possessive pronoun my, or else you can use mine as well. This book is mine. So, these are possessive pronouns, my, mine, your, yours, okay. So, they are theirs, his, her, hers. So, those are possessive pronouns, remember. And you have reflexive pronouns as well. Reflexive pronouns are myself, yourselves, theirselves, okay. Sorry, those are reflexive pronouns. So, let's move on to the next category. Prepositions. So, prepositions, you know, they come before a noun. Prepositions we use before a noun, we use it to link or give give a more clear idea about when we ask the question where, we can come up with the answer. The answer would be a preposition. So, remember those are prepositions, and conjunctions are used to link two words or even two phrases, even two sentences. So, those are conjunctions, and some examples are and, but, so those are conjunctions. And determiners, you know, under this category we can take the articles a and the, and also we can take sometimes numbers 1, 2, 3. So, those numbers we can take under determiners, and also we can take the words such as any, some, all. So, all these words also can be categorized under the group determiners. And interjections. What are interjections? Even when you speak or even when you write something, when you want to express your feelings or your emotions, you can always add an interjection to show your feelings or emotions. So, what are they? Anyone who can come up with an answer? Yes? Yes, can you hear me, my dear students? Can you come up with an answer? What are interjections? Yes, okay. I'll tell you what are they. So, you may use like words like wow. So, that is an interjection. Like you show how how excited and how much you like something. To say that, you use the interjection wow. Or else you can, if you are excited and if you are surprised, you can use something like oh, or else oh my god. Okay, and if you like don't understand something, then you can use and also if you are like in a pain, you can use something like ouch. So, these are interjections. And what are enumerators? Enumerators are numbers. Okay, so we can divide these enumerators into two types. They are cardinal numbers and then ordinal numbers. Cardinal numbers means we say 1, 2, 3, 4, all these are cardinal numbers, and ordinal numbers means first, second, third, fourth. Okay, so those are ordinal numbers. So, you can like if you want, you can take notes as well when I am saying something, and you can memorize this once we finish the lesson as well. So, I have given a brief description about each and every category or each and every parts of speech that I have mentioned here. But remember, today as we have only 2 hours, we are going to cover up only 4 types of parts of speech, which means nouns, verbs, adjectives and adverbs. Okay, so I have given a brief like description for all the other parts of speech, but we will cover up those 4. Okay, so before going into the lesson, now I have given you a brief description about each and every parts of speech. So, I would like to see you answering me. So, you have 10 questions here, questions in the sense they are sentences. What you have to do is you have to fill in the blanks, which means there are gaps. So, you have to fill the gaps using the parts of speech that I have introduced to you just now. So, look at the first sentence. You have a blank and it says is important in every aspect of life. And students, you have some answers here. I hope you can see it in an orange color box. So, these are the answers that you can use to fill the gaps. So, shall we try to answer the questions? What is the first answer? What is the answer for the first one? Yes, what do you think?
Management.
Sorry, can you repeat it again?
Management.
It is?
The first answer is management, am I right?
Okay, the first answer is management. Somebody said that the first answer is management. Okay, all the others, is it correct? Is it correct? Do you agree with that girl's answer? Okay. Okay, can you tell me? Okay, can you tell me? So, you said management. So, the sentence is management is important in every aspect of life. So, what is this management? To which category or to which group does this word management belong to? Yes. Is it a noun? Is it a verb? Is it an adjective or an adverb? Yes. Yes. Any answers? Okay, someone said that it's a verb. Is it a verb? Others? Now, a while ago, I told you there's a structure of building up sentences. The structure is subject, verb and then object. So, can we add a verb at the beginning of a sentence? Think of that. Yes? Yeah, it's a noun. Yeah, it's a noun because we add it as the subject of this sentence and it says like management. Management is important in every aspect of life. So, remember it's a noun. We can't take it as a verb because verbs come after the subject of a sentence. So, the first is the subject and as the subject here we have a noun. Okay, what is the answer for the second one? Blank is a skillful entrepreneur. Yes? He. It's he. Okay, what is the category? To which category does it belong to?
Subject pronoun.
Sorry, now I taught you some categories. Okay, I'll move on again. Look at here. You have 10 parts of speech or 10 categories that words are categorized to. So, from all, yes, sorry.
Noun. Pronoun.
Ma'am, we can't hear you.
Miss, I couldn't hear you.
Out now, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so look at the third sentence. Some students are blank on a. Did you hear the last final answer that I said for the second one?
No, ma'am. No.
Okay, so the answer is he. Someone told me the answer. So, he is a subject pronoun. I took the example, Kamal is working in the garden. So, Kamal is the subject of that sentence and we can replace Kamal with the use of the subject pronoun he. So, we can say without saying Kamal, we can say he is working in the garden. So, he is used to replace the subject Kamal. So, we call it a subject pronoun. Is it clear? I hope it's clear for all. And look at the third sentence. Some students are blank on a project. So what is the answer?
Working.
Some students are working on a project. Okay, good. So it's what is working? What is working here? What is the category?
Verb.
It's a verb. Okay, so present continuous. So you will learn tenses in the future. So it's present continuous and it's a verb. Okay. Fourth one, we blank do assignments at university. Yes, we blank do assignments.
We often
Sorry? We often do assignments at university. Okay, what is often? To which category does it belong to? What is often? So you have the categories here. Take a look. Yes, it's an adverb and it is an frequency adverb. Okay, I'll teach you that as well. Okay, human resources is a blank career path.
Good.
Yeah. Good career path. Okay, what is good? What is?
Adverb.
Adjective.
It's an adjective. Why do you say that it's an adjective? Because it describes this career path. Okay, what kind of a career path? It's a good career path. So that's an adjective. Describe the noun career path. Okay, next one. There are 5 faculties blank our university. In our university, which is a preposition. Okay. 7, tourism is a profitable industry blank. The country doesn't take advantage from it.
But.
So two contrast ideas, which means two opposite ideas. Tourism is a profitable industry, but the country doesn't take advantage of it. So which means two different like two opposite ideas combined together with the use of the conjunction but, which means but is a conjunction. 8th one, blank. You have 2 blanks, like it's 1, but I have separated it with a comma. And is this Nimal? He has changed a lot.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, it's an interjection. Okay, you are excited, which means you are surprised to see Nimal who has changed a lot. Okay, next, she won the blank prize in the English competition. Sorry, she won the
First.
first prize. Okay, what is it? What is the category?
Adjective.
No, Puta, yes, you can take it under adjective, but actually here we can take it as an enumerator. Look at here, enumerators. This is what we learned, enumerators. So this is an ordinal number. Ordinal number. Okay, first, second, they are ordinal numbers, and we call cardinal numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. They are cardinal numbers. Okay, last one. What is blank calculation method?
This calculation method.
This calculation method, and the C should be simple. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, so this is an activity for you all. I hope you can find this on YouTube as well. So you can do this later, because I hope you have an idea about these categories now. So we'll move on to the next. Overlapping word classes. What is the meaning of overlapping? Have you heard about this word overlapping? What is overlap? Yes? Can you hear me? Okay, overlapping means we use like some word classes we use in 2 categories. We can find some word classes in 2 word categories, or in 2 categories of these parts of speech. So that's why we call overlapping. One word can come in one category, and also the same word can come in another category. So it overlaps. So some words in English can appear in more than one word class. Okay, for an example, 1, 2, 3. Can you tell me the word category that these words belong to?
Numbers.
Sorry?
Numbers.
Yeah, so I taught you a word. What do you call for numbers? What is it?
Numerators.
Enumerators. Okay, so this can come under enumerators, and as someone mentioned earlier, this can also come under adjectives because it describes a noun. If you say one book, then it describes the noun book, one book. Okay, so two books, it describes the noun book. So it can come under both enumerators and what is the other category? Yes? Adjectives. Okay, remember that. And then next two words, water and plant. Water and then plant. What are they? To which category does they belong?
Noun.
Sorry? Noun. Okay. Noun and at the same time it can be a
Verb.
it can be a verb. We can say she is watering the plants. She waters the plants every day. So it's a verb as well. We can take it as a noun as well. Okay? She drinks water. So there water is a noun. Okay? An uncountable noun. Okay? Plant plays the same function. Okay? Therefore, we can determine the category of a word only when it appears in a specific position in a sentence. Okay, so remember that's what I said earlier as well. You have a structure in building up sentences. I am repeating this again and again because you need to keep this in mind. The structure is subject, verb, object. So there are places where we can add nouns. We can't add nouns at a now we have subject, verb, object. We can't add a noun as the verb. We can place the noun only at the position of subject or at the position of object. Okay? So, there are places where we can place these categories. So, remember that is what I said, you can determine the category only when you look at the sentence. Okay? Now, if I say the girl waters the plants every day, then waters means it's a verb. It's a verb, you identified it because it acts as the action of the sentence. Watering is the action that you do. But if I say the girl drinks water, then water comes as the object and it's the noun of the sentence. Water is a noun, an uncountable noun. Okay, so you can determine the sorry. You can always keep your mics muted. Okay. You can determine the position only when you look at the sentence because there are some overlapping word classes as well. Okay. So, we will move on. Okay. So, when we tell this word class or parts of speech, we can divide it into two categories. One category is open class words and the other category is closed class words. Okay. So, can you all guess why have I named one category as open class words and the other as closed class words? Can you all guess it? Yes? No idea? Okay, I will explain it. So, open class words means it's always opened, which means we can add more new words to these categories. To the category open class words, we can add more new words. We can make more new nouns, more new verbs, more new adverbs and as well as more new adjectives. So, it is not fixed. We can't say that these open class words are fixed because we can add more into it. But closed class words are always closed. Remember, so pronouns, prepositions, conjunctions, determiners, interjections, enumerators and operator words. I will come to this later, operator words, I will come to that later. So, all these categories are closed, which means it has a fixed number of words. We can't add more to it. We can't add more pronouns, we can't add more prepositions. Okay? So, there are instances where we can add words to these categories as well, but it is like very rare. Okay? So, it is always closed. Remember that it's they are closed class words. Okay, I will come to this word operator words. So, you have verbs in open class words and you see auxiliary verbs in the closed class words. So, auxiliary verbs means be, do and have. So, these three verbs are closed class words where which means, and you have also these modal auxiliaries like may, might, could, can, okay, should. So, they are also closed class words, which means we can't add more auxiliary verbs into the diction or into the English language, but we can add more nouns, verbs, adjectives and adverbs. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, fine. So, we will start with nouns. Okay, so what have you heard about nouns before? What have you heard about nouns before? I know you learn as like a noun is a place, a thing or a name of a person. That's what you learn. But there are, remember, there are instances where we can take actions as nouns and also some ideas as nouns. Okay, take a look at the examples that I have given: lecturer, university, tourism, read, teaching and happiness. Okay, when I say lecturer, what is it? It can be taken under common nouns. It is a noun. Okay, so you know that. And like university, it is also a common noun. Okay, it's common. You can say university to all the universities that exist in the whole world. So it's a common noun. It's common. Tourism, it's also a noun. And read, it's something like a quality. Okay, it's not a person, it's not a place, it's not a thing, but it's like something like a quality. So you can call red a noun, because we can say we can use this red even as a subject. So red is a noun. So these colors you can consider them as nouns. And teaching, when we say teaching, it's an action, teaching. Okay, so teaching also you can take as a noun. You can say that teaching English to Sri Lankans is very important. So teaching, you can take that as a noun. And then happiness. Happiness also you can consider that as a noun because it's a quality. Okay, so remember all these are nouns. And look at the next point, nouns made with the use of suffixes. You can make nouns with the use of suffixes. Suffixes are like a collection of like some words that we add at the end of a noun. We can like a verb or else any word category. So we can add a suffix and change its category. Look at here, govern. Govern is the noun. You govern. Govern is the noun, but you add ment and you make it a noun. Govern is the verb, and to govern you add ment and you change the word class into a noun. Okay, govern, government is the noun. Repeat, with the addition of tion you make it a noun. Repeat is a verb, okay, and repetition is a noun. Sincere, sincere is an adjective and with the addition of ity you make it a noun, sincerity. And then specialist, special is also an adjective and with the use of ist you can make it a noun. Socialism, social, okay, social is the adjective and then you can, sorry, social, yeah, and with the addition of ism you can make it a noun. And then child is a noun and with the addition of HOOD it's still a noun, childhood. Friendship, friend is a noun, with the addition of ship again you can make it a noun. Honest is an adjective and with the addition of ty you make it a noun, honesty. So remember, nouns are not always places, things and names of person. Okay, you have to remember that. Okay, so here are some functions of nouns. Functions of nouns means where do a noun function in a sentence? Where do a noun occur in a sentence, or where do we place the noun in a sentence? So remember, in a sentence we can add a noun after a determiner or an article. Okay, determiner, I told you what are determiners. We can consider articles as determiners, we can consider numbers as determiners, and also we can consider some words like some, all, any as determiners. So, all these words we can have in front of a noun. So, nouns come after a determiner or an adjective or even a number as well. Next one, nouns can appear after adjectives. So, a noun can come after adjectives. We can say new bag. Okay. So, new is an adjective and bag is the noun. Okay. So, with the adjective new we modify the noun, and also nouns function as the subject of the sentence. Noun can come as the subject of the sentence. Most often we add nouns as the subject of the sentence when we make like simple sentences. The student attended the lecture. The student is the noun. So, it comes as the subject of the sentence. And the same sentence, look at the same sentence. The lecture, what is the lecture? Is it a noun, verb or an adjective? Yes. What is the lecture? Yes, can you answer me? Sorry, can you repeat it again? I heard someone of you told me the answer. Can you repeat that again? Yes, it's a noun. Okay, so look at that. As the subject of the sentence, we have a noun, and as the object of the sentence also we have a noun, which means nouns can function also as the object or the direct object of the sentence. Kasun gives a gift to his mother. So, here the direct object is a gift. Have you identified this direct object is? What does Kasun give? When you ask the question what, you come up with the answer like the direct object, you come up with the direct object. The direct object is gift. What does Kasun give? A gift. So, a gift is the direct object and a gift is the noun. Okay. So, nouns can function as the direct object as well. Nouns function as the indirect object of a sentence. Noun can function as the indirect object as well. So, look at the sentence, my sister writes a letter to her friend. Her friend is also a noun. Okay, but it functions as the indirect object of the sentence. To whom does my sister write the letter? Sister writes the letter to her friend. When you ask the question to whom, you come up with the direct object, to her friend. So, that is the direct object and it is still a noun. Nouns function as an adverbial. She is playing in the beach. In the beach. When you question like where is she playing, then you come up with the answer the beach. Adverbial means you can find the adverbial always when you ask the questions when, where and how. When you ask these three questions you can come up with the answer. So, where is she playing? In the beach. So, that is an adverbial. Okay. Let us move on to the types of nouns. So, you have types of nouns and before that you have one statement here. A noun is a name of a person, place or thing, therefore the word, idea and runs cannot be nouns. Is this true or false? Do you agree with this idea or you disagree? Is this true or false? Yes, can you give me the answers? Is this statement true or false? I hope you can hear me. Can you answer? A noun is a name of a person, place or thing, therefore the word idea and runs cannot be nouns. Is it correct or wrong? Yes? What is your answer?
Fourth.
It's
Wrong.
wrong. Okay, someone said it's wrong, you said, right? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Wrong. Okay, it is wrong because it cannot always be a person, a thing or a place. So, it is wrong and therefore, the word idea and runs cannot be nouns. That's also wrong, that it's the same sentence, but the idea is different. So, idea and runs cannot be nouns. That's wrong because we can take idea and this word runs as noun, as a noun in a sentence. So, it's wrong. Okay. So, here we have types of nouns. So, normally nouns we can divide into two categories, proper nouns and common nouns. Proper nouns means always a place, thing or a name of a person. And when it comes to common nouns, they are nouns which which describe a general term. A general term means earlier also I told you the words like university. We can say university to all the universities in the whole world. So, it is a general term which we can use for all universities. It is common to all universities. So, university is a common noun. And if we take the word student, we can call all the students in this world a student. So, it is a common noun. So, those are common nouns, and proper nouns means always a name, person, a name of a person, place or thing. So, remember that. So, that is the main two categories of nouns, common nouns and proper nouns. And we can divide these proper nouns, look at here, we can divide these common nouns into four. What are the four? Countable and uncountable nouns, we have collective nouns, we have compound nouns, and then again we have concrete and abstract nouns. Countable and uncountable noun, you can understand this term from the word itself. Countable means we can count them. Uncountable means these nouns we cannot count. So, some examples for countable nouns are like books, okay, students, we can count. Uncountable nouns are like sugar, okay, furniture, wood, and then again words like teaching, we can't count teaching. So, that's a noun and it's an uncountable noun, teaching. And if I say honesty, we can't count honesty, okay, so we can't measure. So, honesty, so those are uncountable nouns. And collective nouns, what are collective nouns? Yes? Any answer? What are collective nouns? This is also similar to common nouns, and under collective nouns we most of the time takes words like bunch of, we have bunch of, a flock of, stack of, or else we can say a pile of. So, these are collective nouns, like, and also we can use words like team, group. So, these are collective, like you have many people including in that category. When we say a bunch of flowers, so you have many flowers, a bunch. So, if I say a team, there are many members. If I say a group, there are many members. Orchestra, there are many members. Okay, so like that. So, those are called collective nouns. Compound nouns means we make compound nouns with the use of two nouns. We combine two nouns together and make compound nouns. Maybe you know what are compound nouns. Can you come up with an answer? Yes? Can someone answer me what are compound nouns? And give me an example. Yes? Can you give me an example? Sorry, can you tell it a little bit louder?
Newspaper.
Newspaper. Okay. So, you combine the two words news and paper together to make the compound noun newspaper. Okay. Two nouns connected or combined together. One is news and the other is paper. And you have many other nouns like if I say toothbrush. Tooth is a noun. Okay. And brush is another noun. So, you connect it and you have a different meaning, toothbrush. Okay. So, likewise you have many what else? What are some other examples? Yes?
Football.
Football, okay. Okay, I hope. Sorry? Sorry, I didn't hear you. Okay, good. So, those are some examples and we will move to concrete and abstract nouns. Concrete nouns means we can detect these concrete nouns to our 5 senses. 5 senses means like these nouns we can either touch or like we can hear, we can listen or else we can feel these nouns. Either one of these 5 senses, we can detect it for one of these 5 senses. Like if we take the word ball, it is a simple word ball, we can see it. So, that is a concrete noun. Okay? So, any noun which we can touch, see, hear or listen or feel are called concrete nouns. And abstract nouns are nouns that we cannot detect to our 5 senses. Okay, which means we cannot touch them, we cannot feel them, we cannot hear or listen. Words like love, okay, you can't like you can feel love, that is something else, but it means you cannot, like you do not know, you can't measure it, okay, you can't measure it. So, you can't touch it. So, like something like teaching, honesty, those you can't feel or you can't detect them for your 5 senses. So, those are called abstract nouns. Okay, we will move on. Okay, so that is all about nouns, and you have a task here, give some, you can do it alone at home, and we will move on to verbs. Okay, what are verbs? What do you know about verbs and what are verbs? Yes. What are verbs?
Verb is action.
Verb is an action. Okay, yes, that's true. Verb is an action. Okay, so verb is a lexical item. We call lexis, which means a word. Lexical, this means word. Okay, words. Verb is a lexical item that indicates an action, a state of being, or else a state or a happening, or else those 3. So, you have some examples here: run, work, learn, jump, eat. Okay, so those are verbs. Remember, verbs we can divide them into 2 categories. One is lexical verbs and the other is auxiliary verbs. Okay, what are these lexical verbs? What are these lexical verbs? Yes? Okay, remember, lexical verbs can always function as a full verb in a sentence, which means it can give the complete meaning of the sentence. With the use of a lexical verb, we can make a full sentence with a complete meaning. Okay, so verbs like run, work, learn, jump, eat, they are lexical verbs. And when it comes to auxiliary verbs, there are 2 categories of auxiliary verbs. They are primary auxiliaries and you have modal auxiliaries. There are 3 primary auxiliaries in English. They are be, the verb be, to be, and do, to do, and have, has, okay, to have. So, those are the 3 primary auxiliaries, and modal auxiliaries are may, might, could, would, should. Those are modal auxiliaries. So, we will move on. Okay, so I gave you the definition already. So, look at the example I have given under lexical verbs. I study in a government university. Study gives the like when I say the word verb study, you understand the sentence, like it gives the complete meaning. There is no need of adding another verb to give the complete meaning. By the only verb study, we can understand this sentence. So, that is a lexical verb. Okay, so, we have 5 forms of lexical verbs. Remember, these are not the tenses. You have 12 tenses in English, and that you will be learning with like Miss Salani in the future. So, these are forms. These are 5 forms that you have to remember. One is the base form, which means like the infinitive form is to plus the verb, to work, to run, to jump, to eat. So, these are this is the infinitive form. Base form of a verb means verb, we have the verb, but we don't add any suffixes into the verb. Okay, so it's the first form, the root form. In Sinhala we say mula, it's the base form of the verb. We haven't added anything like anything at the end of the verb, work, run. So that's the base form. And present tense means you know how to make present tense. So like works, runs, if I say jump, jumps, so you can add s, or else you can also add es. There are some times where you add ies when there is a y at the end of the verb. So those that is present tense. And present participle is always the ing form. Okay, verb with ing form. Past tense means ed, or else some verbs change its origin, which means if it is run, the word itself changes, ran. We don't add ed at the end, we change the whole word. Okay, changes the origin. Okay, past participle is also like worked, run, you may have learned. So that is past participle. And lexical verbs denote tense, agreement and aspect. So remember, like this is different from auxiliary verbs. These lexical verbs always denote tense. Tense means like we have 12 tenses in English. We can convert this verb into one of the tenses. So it denotes tense, agreement, we agree. Like if we take the subject I and the verb work, we can say I work. But when it comes to she, third person singular, we say she works. We add an s at the end. So that is what I call agreement. We agree according to the subject. Okay, and aspect. Aspect means whether the action is in progress, whether the action is already like it's over, whether we are doing that's called aspect. Okay, so I'm not going to go further into this because you have a separate lesson for tenses. You learn this. And here I have just taken, I have made a chart for tenses, for the 12 tenses. So you will be studying 12 tenses, so I am not going to teach this. And we'll move on to the categories of lexical verbs. So when lexical verbs gives a complete meaning to the sentence, and these are some categories of lexical verbs. So you can see here 8 categories. Yeah, I'm correct. Yeah, 8 categories. So regular verbs. What are regular verbs? In English we have regular and irregular verbs. A regular verb is a verb where you can make the past tense of and the past participle of the verb by adding
Ma'am, we can't hear you.
Okay, so can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I am very sorry. There was an issue, that's why. Okay, so did you hear what I taught under lexical verbs? Did you hear this part?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This tenses there I didn't mention anything. categories of lexical verbs. So, we have 8 categories of lexical verbs and you can see the 8 categories on the screen. So, the first is regular verbs. So, as I said earlier, there are 2 ways of making the past tense or the past participle of verbs. One is adding ed and the other is we change the origin of the verb, which means we change the whole verb. For example, the verbs like run, okay, we change it to ran, ran, drink, drank. So, we change the origin. So, there are 2 types. So, when it comes to regular verbs, we make regular verbs only by adding ed in the past tense or past participle forms. Okay. So, you can't take a verb which changes the origin as a regular verb. Regular verbs are made always by adding ed at the end of the verb when we put it into past or past participle form. And then you have irregular verbs. Irregular verbs change its origin. Look at here, past and past participle forms are created in an irregular manner. So, it is not regular. Regular way is adding ed. Okay. So, transitive verbs, intransitive verbs and ditransitive verbs. Transitive verbs are verbs where we have the verb is followed by an direct object. Remember, the verbs where we can add direct objects after the verb is a transitive verb. For example, verbs like if I take the verb I eat, if I say I eat rice, eat is followed by the word rice. So, I eat an apple. So, it takes a direct object. The verb eat takes an direct object. What do you eat? An apple. So, an apple is the direct object. So, transitive verbs are verbs which are followed by an direct object, and intransitive verbs are verbs which are not followed by direct objects. Okay? They do not take direct objects. For example, if I take the verb sleep, I sleep, you can't say what, if you question what I sleep, that is not matching as well. So, there is no direct object that follows the verb sleep. So, that is an intransitive verb. And ditransitive verbs take 2 objects. So, specifically the direct object and the indirect object. A ditransitive verb can take a direct object and an indirect object. For an example, if I say like I write a letter to Nimal. I write a letter to Nimal. So, there you have, what do you write? A letter, that is the direct object, and to whom do you write? That is the indirect object, to Nimal. So, you have 2 objects, one is direct and the other is indirect. So, those are called ditransitive verbs. So, remember these transitive verbs and intransitive verbs and also ditransitive verbs can be named as transitive, intransitive and ditransitive only by looking at the sentence. There are some verbs that belongs to intransitive verbs or that belongs to transitive verbs, but there are instances where like one verb can belong to 2 of these categories. So, we have to look at the sentence, and if the verb follows a direct object, then that verb can be named as a transitive verb. And when we look at the sentence, if there is no direct object and if we cannot add any direct object to that sentence, then that verb can be called as an intransitive verb. Ditransitive verbs means, you know now, if there are 2 verbs like the direct object and the indirect object, we can call it a ditransitive verb. Okay, what are did you understand it? Is it clear for all of you?
Yes, madam.
Okay, fine. Linking verbs. What are linking verbs? Linking verbs complete the meaning of the predicate. What is this predicate? Predicate means when we take a sentence like I write a book. We will take I write a book. The verb plus the rest of the sentence is called a predicate. Verb plus the rest of the sentence is always a predicate. So, if you are asked to find a predicate in a sentence, you have to, like, if you are asked to underline it, you have to underline the verb plus the rest of the sentence. Okay. So, linking verbs complete the meaning of the predicate. Linking verbs are most of the time verbs like you have stative verbs. You will learn this when you come here physically to the university premises, when you come here and when you start your academics, you will learn this further. So, linking verbs, we have two, like we can have the auxiliary verbs as well as verbs like seem. It seems beautiful, like it looks beautiful, she appears kind, or else we can say, so some verbs like seem, appears, so those are, and even love we can take as linking verbs. So, linking verbs complete the meaning of the predicate, and remember we do not have a direct object after this linking verb. Okay. So, that is how you can find it. We do not have a direct object after the linking verb. So, the next, and it completes the predicate, which means now she is she is kind. If I say she is kind, who is kind? It describes this noun she. Subject, it describes the noun or the subject of the sentence she. So, that's how we find it. And finite verbs and non-finite verbs. Finite verb denotes tense, agreement, and also it occurs in the main clause. Tense agreement, what is this tense agreement? Finite clause, which means actually you can consider any lexical verb as a finite clause if it appears as the main verb of the sentence and if it denotes tense. Denoting tense and agreement means, now if it has agreed or if it denote, now if I say I played cricket, okay, I played cricket, so played, it is past tense and it is agreed with the subject I, so which means played is a finite verb. Okay, it is the main verb of the sentence, of a sentence, and non-finite verbs do not denote tense or agreement, which means, now when we take a non-finite verb is something like, if I say the girl made me cry, the girl made me cry. Okay, look at the verb made. Made is agreed with the subject the girl made. So, it is past tense, made means past tense, and like it is agreed with girl, okay, third person singular. So, that is a finite verb, and the girl made me cry. Cry is also a verb, but cry is not agreed, it does not denote tense, it is not agreed with the subject. So, cry is a non-finite verb. Did you understand that? Is it clear? Is it clear?
ma'am.
Sorry?
Yes.
Yes, okay,
No,
fine.
ma'am. Can you repeat it, please?
Sorry, I can't hear you. Isn't it clear?
No, ma'am. Can you repeat it, please?
You didn't get that?
Yeah, last one. not
Okay.
finite
So,
verb.
finite verb means, now I will take an example. She studies English. Okay? She studies English. Now, studies, the verb studies agrees with the subject she. Okay? As it's as she is third person singular, we have added IES at the end. We have added S. So, it agrees with the subject and it denotes tense. She studies, present tense, which means like it's a habitual action. She studies English. So, it denotes tense as well as it agrees with the subject. So, that verb is the main verb of that sentence. So, we call it a finite verb because it denotes tense and agreement. But non-finite verbs means, if I say she made me cry, okay, if I say she makes me cry, okay, she makes me cry. So, makes, the verb makes agrees with the subject she, because it has an S at the end and also it denotes tense, present tense. She makes me cry, she makes me cry. Cry is also a verb, but that is not a finite verb because it doesn't agree with the subject she. Got it? It's something like at the end of the sentence and it is not the main verb of the sentence. It's not the main verb of the sentence and it doesn't denote any tense. It's the base form of the make me cry. It's just the base form. It's not agreed with the subject and it does not denote any tense. It is not present tense or past tense or past participle. Got it? Is it clear now?
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, others? Okay, I hope the one who didn't, the one who asked me the question, is it clear? The one who didn't get it earlier?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, okay, fine. So, what I want you to do is now write 4 examples to each of these categories. So, I don't want you to write 4 examples, just can you come up with one sentence? Okay, so you have to make one sentence with a regular verb and one sentence with an irregular verb. So, likewise make one sentence for each one of these categories. Yes, you don't want time, you can just come up with answers. Yes? Can you come up with an answer? A sentence made with a regular verb? Can you tell me the answer? Yes? We have only 50 minutes, so you have to hurry.
Play.
I need a sentence. I need a sentence. So, you take, you may be correct, you have to take the verb and make a sentence with it. Yes? Any answers? What was
She
it?
likes to play football.
She likes to play football. Yeah, it's like is a regular verb because we don't change the origin of the verb like when we put it into past or past participle form. We just add ed. Okay, good. A sentence with an irregular verb. Yes, a sentence with an irregular verb. Yes.
We have done that earlier.
We have done that earlier. Okay. Past and past participle forms are created in an irregular manner. Okay. What is the past participle or the past form of this verb have? Has have? Yes. Do we add ed to make the past tense or past participle? No, we say had. The past or past participle, it's had. Okay, so we change the origin of the verb. So it can be an irregular verb. Okay, transitive with an transitive verb. A sentence with a transitive verb. Yes. Hurry up. It is always followed by a direct object. So, you know how to identify the direct object. You can ask the question what. Then if you have,
Plays the piano.
sorry,
Kamal plays the piano.
Kamal plays the piano. What does Kamal play? The piano. So, that the piano is the direct object. Good. Intransitive verb. So, if you want, I will give you some examples for intransitive verbs. Verbs like sleep, run, okay. Verbs like kill, arrive, and remember kill, arrive are always intransitive verbs because we never add direct objects after the verb. So, these are intransitive verbs. So, okay, make a sentence from one of these verbs. Yes. Yes, soon.
She works up early morning.
She works.
Up early morning.
Okay, she works. I didn't hear the rest of the sentence. She works.
She works up early morning.
She wakes up. Okay, she wakes up early morning. Very good. She wakes up early morning. Good. Next one, transitive verb. Yes, takes two objects. One direct object and one indirect object.
I write a letter to my friend.
I write a letter to my friend. A letter is the direct object because what do you write? A letter, and to whom? To your friend. So, very good. Okay, fine. Linking verbs. What are linking? I will give you some examples. Verbs like seem, appears, look, and even love, and also even you can use these auxiliary verbs. So, what are some examples? Yes. Remember, always after the verb you have you can have an adjective like she looks pretty. Sorry, she looks pretty. So, pretty describes the subject she. She looks pretty. So, it's something like that. There is no direct object. Oh, yeah. Can you come up with an answer? Yes. Yes, any answers? Hope you can hear me. Can someone of you give me an answer? It doesn't matter if it's wrong, I can help you.
She seems very happy.
Sorry, can you tell it a little bit louder?
She seems very happy.
She seems very happy. Okay, so very happy describes like she. How is she? How is she seen? She is very happy. So, that's not a direct object. So, good. Okay, finite verb. Make a sentence with a finite verb. It's easy because any lexical verb you can take as a finite verb because it denotes tense. And even you can take like auxiliary verbs if it is the only main verb in the sentence, and if it denotes tense and agreement. If it agrees with the subject, you can take it as a finite verb. Yes?
She completes her assignments.
Okay, she completes her assignments. Good. Next one, non-finite verbs. One sentence with a non-finite verb.
We are ready to study now.
We are ready to study now. Okay, we are, here are is the main verb. Okay, we are ready to study. To study doesn't denote any tense. Okay, it's the infinitive and it doesn't denote any agreement. It doesn't agree with the verb, with the subject we. Okay, good. So that's all about verbs. Is it clear for you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So here are auxiliary verbs. All about lexical verbs. I'm sorry. So here are auxiliary verbs. So auxiliary verbs, as I said earlier, we can divide it into two: primary auxiliaries and modal auxiliaries. So under primary auxiliaries, we have three verbs: be, do, and have. Be, do, and have. So you know, to be, from this verb to be, we take the present tense of the verb to be is am, is, are. If you want, you can note down present tense of the The verb be is am, is, are, and the past tense of the verb be is was and were, and like we have the present participle. Participle is being, B-E-I-N-G, B-E-I-N-G, that's the present participle, and then you have past participle, B-E-E-N, being, that's the past participle. So, you can study this, and the base form is be, base form is be, the first form or the root form. Okay, do is the next auxiliary verb. So, you have do, does, okay, do, does, present, and then done, you have done past, and then again you have done past participle, and then did, you have past tense, and doing is the past present participle. Okay, and then have, present tense has have, and then you have had past and past participle, and then you have having present participle with ing. Okay, and then you have modal auxiliaries is the other category. So, modal auxiliaries include these verbs like may, might, could, should, would. Okay, so those are modal auxiliaries. So, you can take this into your mind. Okay, so that's about auxiliary verbs, and here we are going to start adjectives now. Okay, so what is an adjective? What is an adjective?
That describes the noun.
Adjectives always describe nouns. Good. Okay, so adjectives also are a word class, and adjectives usually function as a modifier of a noun or else a pronoun. It can also modify a pronoun, remember that, not only nouns, because pronouns, we use pronouns to replace nouns. So, it can modify both nouns and pronouns. By placing an adjective before a noun, we provide more information about what the noun is. So, we describe further about the noun. In other words, adjective gives a description about the details of noun. So, the same thing repeated in different words. Look at the example. The lecturer taught an important lesson. So, what is the adjective? So, you can see it because I have highlighted it.
Important.
Important. So, it describes the noun lesson. What kind of a lesson? It's an important lesson. So, important is the adjective. So, we will move on to the types of adjectives. So, you have here, I will tell this first because we can mainly divide adjectives into two, attributive and predicative. Okay? So, attributive means we have adjectives that come before the noun, and we also have adjectives that come after the noun. Okay? So, look at here, it's like this. Now, if I say she is a pretty girl, she is a pretty girl. So, the noun is girl and the adjective pretty describes the noun girl. So, it's an attributive adjective because it comes before the noun girl. But if I say something like she is pretty, she is pretty, look at that, or the girl, will take the girl is pretty. The girl is the noun, the girl is described by the adjective pretty, but it comes after the noun, even after the verb. So, that functions as predicative adjectives because before also I taught you a predicate is the rest of the verb, the rest of the sentence following the verb. With the verb, the rest of the sentence is called the predicate. So, we call it predicative adjective because it comes after the verb and it follows the noun. So, that is the difference. And even if I say she is pretty, look at that, she is a pronoun, it is a subject pronoun. That is why I said adjectives can also modify pronouns. Okay? So, she is pretty, she is modified by the adjective pretty. So, this pretty in that sentence is function as a predicative adjective. So, the same adjective can function as an attributive or as a predicative. So, you have to identify that by looking at the sentence. I hope it is clear for you. So, and you have 5 other types of adjectives possessive adjectives. So, these possessive adjectives I already taught you these possessives when I told you about these pronouns. So, all these pronouns that comes under subject pronouns, object pronouns, possessive pronouns, and then again reflexive pronouns can be not reflexive pronouns, those can be taken under possessive adjectives. And number adjectives. Number adjectives are the numbers that belong, like all the cardinal numbers we can take as number adjectives, 1, 2, 3, 4, all that. And interrogative adjectives. Interrogative, we have only 3 interrogative adjectives: what, which, and whose. Those are interrogative adjectives, because if I ask you a question, what is that book? Okay, what is that book? Like it says, what book is it? What book? Because it describes this book, though it does not say a specific answer what kind of a book it is, but it still says what? Monopotad. So, what? We have what? So, that can be taken as an interrogative adjective, and also we can take which. Okay, which, and again whose. Which book is this? Okay, and whose book is this? Okay, so those 3 can be taken as under interrogative adjectives. You can write down if you want what, which, and whose. Okay, and the next, demonstrative adjectives. What are demonstrative adjectives? So, I told you under these demonstratives we can take articles, numbers, and also words like any, some, all, every. Okay. So, all these are demonstrative adjectives. So, that is why I told you at the beginning there are overlapping word classes. Now, look at here, demonstratives we can take under adjectives as well. Okay, and it belongs to demonstratives as well. So, demonstratives are another word class and adjectives are another word class. We can have the articles like the, and under demonstratives as well as under adjectives, under demonstrative adjectives. So, that is why some word classes are overlapping, some words under the word classes are overlapping, which means it can come in 2 categories. So, remember that. Okay, next is articles. So, now look at here, same. Now, demonstratives, under demonstrative also we can take the, and under articles again we come to these the, and. And remember, under demonstratives, I forgot to tell that you can add the determiners as well. Determiners, you determine this, that, those, these. Okay, determiners. Determiners also come under demonstratives. Okay, articles, you know, it's the, and an. Okay, so all these are adjectives, remember that. So, these are the types of main types of adjectives, and you have 7 here. So, remember, you can mainly divide the adjectives into 2, like attributive and predicative, and also you have other 5 types of adjectives. Is it clear? Any questions? Is it clear? Do you have any questions? Okay, you can raise if you have any at the end of the session. Okay. So, there is an order of placing adjectives. If you want to add an adjective in a sentence, you know you have to place it before the noun, or there are instances where you place it after the noun. I taught you right now. So, remember, if you want to add more than one adjective in a sentence, you have an order. So, if you want to add a determiner, you know it comes first. Determiners, and, or even numbers, and even words like many, every, all, some comes at the beginning. So, determiner is the first. So, then you have to add the opinion. Opinion means your opinion. How do you see something? What is your opinion about that? About something. So, about the noun, what's your opinion? So, that comes next, and the size comes as the third, and next you can add the shape if there is any shape. And if you have age, you can add it after the shape, and color comes after age, and then comes the origin and material, and finally if there is a purpose, especially this purpose means if it is a verb like ending with ing or ed, so you can add the purpose at the end, and finally you can have the noun. Okay, so what I want you to do is, I want 3 sentences from 3 of you, or you can answer if you have answers. So, I want you to make a sentence with more than 3 adjectives by adding more than 3 adjectives in that sentence. You can add a determiner and the age, origin, you can think one of the nouns and you can make a sentence, but you have to add more than 3 adjectives to describe that noun in the sentence. Yes, I will give you 1 minute. Yes, think of something. So, you have some examples also under each of these categories.
Excuse me.
Yes.
My house is very big.
Okay, my house is
Very big.
very big. Okay, so my house is very big. So you have selected now attributive function, which means my house. You have used the adjective at the end of the sentence, which means it describes the house, but it comes after the noun, attributive function. Okay, my house is very big. Okay, now you have only one adjective there, Putta. Very is not an adjective, it is an adverb. So, you have only one adjective, big. My house is very big. Okay, I appreciate your you told me an answer, so I appreciate it. My house is very big. Okay, fine, correct. So, try to add some more adverbs into that sentence or into another sentence. Yes. Yes, any answers? You can come up with answers.
She was wearing a beautiful gold necklace.
She was wearing a beautiful gold necklace. Am I correct?
Gold. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, she was wearing a beautiful gold necklace. Okay, look at that. She was wearing a beautiful. Beautiful is your opinion. You see it as beautiful. So, it's your opinion. So, that's first. And a gold. What is gold? To which category you can include this word gold? Is it size, shape, age, color, origin, or else material? Yes? You can say material, right? Opinion comes first and material is the aid, so it comes next. Okay, good, your answer is correct. Okay, any other answers?
She is a good young girl.
She is a good young girl. Is that your sentence? Okay, good is your opinion, young is the age. Okay, so her age. Okay, good, that's correct. Okay, fine. I hope you can make sentences after the session as well. So, you have some like a picture and I have given the names of different hairstyles. So, what I want you to do is you can select any though I have said 5 images, you can select any one image and try to describe that figure or her or his appearance with the use of adjectives. And there is no need of describing only the hair, okay, because you can describe about like her appearance. When I say appearance, it can also be the eyes, face and even nose, all the parts. Okay, so, you can describe it with using nouns. Okay, can you come up? You have like the different hairstyles here. You can study it if you want. This is like important for girls. So, if you want, you can study it. Yes, the ones who didn't give me answers, can you come up with answers? You have to describe this one figure, select one figure and describe it. Yes, you have to hurry, we have only like 30 minutes more. Yes, any answers? Hope you can hear me.
She has a curly hair.
She has a curly hair. Okay, that's about the hair. Okay, okay, fine. What else can you tell about that one, that girl? Okay, I found the girl who has a curly hair, yeah. What about her appearance? Yes? What can you say about her smile? What can you?
She has a beautiful
Okay, she
smile.
has a beautiful smile. Okay, good. So, any other answers?
She
Yes?
looks pretty with pigtails.
She looks?
She
So-
looks pretty with pigtails.
She looks pretty with pigtails, you said. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, she looks pretty with pigtails. Very good, because now this is an attribute. It like the adjective functions as an attributive one. Okay, so she looks pretty with pigtails. Okay, very good. The one who said the answer now and the previous one as well. Okay, so we'll move on. Okay, so here you have two pictures. Okay, but now that's the end of adjectives. Okay, that's the end of adjectives, and we are going to move on to another category or another word class or a parts of speech. So what I want you to do before moving is, can someone describe these two pictures or even one picture? What can you say? How can you build up a sentence?
They are beautiful flowers.
There are beautiful flowers. Okay, but then now what I want you to do is, like, you see the girl flowering the plants. Okay, so I am asking you the question, how is this girl flowering the plants? How does she look? How does she look? How is she flowering the plants? Is she happy? Is she sad? Is she excited or surprised?
She looks very happy.
Okay, so how can you describe the action with the use of now you said she looks happy, which means she's very happy. So how can you put that into a sentence with the use of this adjective happy? If I say she is watering the plants, how can you say? How can you add? How can you add that she is happy? Sorry?
Happy.
She is watering the
Happily.
plants? Yes, can you repeat the answer?
Happily.
She is watering the plants happily. Okay? So, how is this Todd is walking?
Slowly.
Sorry?
Slowly.
Slowly. Can you put it into a sentence?
The
Yes.
turtle is walking slowly.
Okay, the tortoise is walking slowly. Okay, so what are these words like slowly, happily? What are they? Are they adverbs or are they adjectives or are they nouns, verbs? To which category?
Adverb.
Adverbs,
Adverbs.
because adverbs. Okay, because now the two adverbs that you told now describes the way of doing the action. Okay, she walks. The tortoise walks slowly. So that is the way how the tortoise walks, and the girl waters the plants happily. So that's how she waters the plants. So what we are going to learn now is adverbs, and that will be the last parts of speech or the last word category that you are going to learn in this session. So look at the definition. An adverb is a word or a phrase that modifies or qualifies an adjective, verb or another adverb expressing a relation of place, time, manner, cause and degree. Okay? So adverb always modifies, or else if I say it in easy words, it describes another adjective. It can describe another adjective or else another verb or else another adverb as well. An adverb can describe or modify another adverb as well. So remember that. So, can you answer my question now? I am going to ask you a question, please answer me. What does adverbs modify or what does adverbs describe? Yes? Yes, can you come up with your answer? What does adverbs describe or what does adverbs modify? It's a simple question.
Verb.
Okay, it describes a verb.
Adjective or
Yeah,
another
it can
adverb.
sometimes describe an adjective, and there are instances where it describes an adverb as well. So, that is it. Okay. So, we have 5 types of adverbs. Actually, we have more than 5 types of adverbs. So, I have selected the most important type. So, I have come to 5 types. So, we have like more like adverbs of purpose as well, and that will be taught when you come here and when you are following your English course in the university premises, then you will be taught about these adverbs of purpose. So, I thought of doing these 5. So, you may have studied this at school as well. So, look at here, we have 5 types: adverbs of manner, adverbs of frequency, adverbs of degree, place, and then again time. Okay, so we will move. Okay, what is the common way of making an adverb? What is the common way of creating or making an adverb? Now, look at the 2 sentences that you told me at the beginning. The tortoise walks slowly. So, slowly, how did you build that adverb? And the next sentence was, the girl waters the plants happily. How did you make those 2 adverbs?
Adding ly at the end of the adjective.
Adding ly at the end of the adjective. Okay. So, a common rule of making adverbs is adding ly at the end of the adjective. But remember, that is not the only rule. I mean, that is not the only way of making adjectives. Normally, we make adjectives by adding ly only in these manner adverbs. We make manner adverbs mainly by adding ly, but most of the other adverbs are not adverbs where you add ly at the end. Okay, you will learn that next. Okay, so first I have taken adverbs of manner. So, manner adverbs always tell you how this how an action is done, how something is done. Okay, and as I said earlier, you can create it by adding ly at the end. Okay, so when you ask the question how, if you ask how something happens, how something is done, okay, so you get the answer. The answer is an adverb, and that adverb can always is a manner adverb. Remember that. So, an adverb of manner is often made by adding ly. In fact, some adverbs of manner will have the same spellings as the adjective form. There are adverbs where we do not add ly as well. So, for example, adverbs like fast. We never say fastly. This is a mistake that most of you make. We never say fastly. Fast, the adjective is fast and the adverb is also fast. We never add ly. So, here you have some examples for manner adverbs. You can study it as this is as you have this session on YouTube as well. You can watch it once again and you can study them. So, I have you are provided with a activity, but as we have less time and we will try to do 5 from this 5 sentences from this activity, and then we will move to the next one. Okay, what is the answer for the first one? It was late, so we walked
quickly.
Quickly, good. The
Quickly.
baby cried. The baby cried
Loudly.
loudly. Okay, you add ly. Okay, my brother drives
Carefully.
carefully. Okay, Mr. Harrison left the room. Okay, sorry, I am very sorry, I have added the answer. Yeah, room angrily. Okay, we will move on to the next one. She did her work neatly. Okay, so here you have adjectives where you can add ly. So, there are instances where you put double ly. Okay, so you can study them separately. Okay, so the next is adverbs of frequency. Okay, what is frequency? What is frequency? Can someone give me the answer? What is frequency? Okay, this frequency is related with time, but it's not time. Remember that. Frequency means how often something happens, which means, in other words, how many number of times something happens. Okay, the number of times something happens. So look at the definition. Adverbs which express frequency or how often something occurs are called adverbs of frequency. So you have some adverbs of frequency here, and I have given it in an order, so you can study. So always, which means you do it always, okay, every time. Usually means it's not always, you don't do it at every moment, but you do it like normally you do it, that's usually. Then frequently means it's like less than usually, and then often means most of the time you do it, sometimes you do it, and then occasionally, there are cases where you do it but sometimes you don't. Rarely, you do it like very rarely, that's very rare. I rarely get sick, which means you don't get sick much. Okay, so you rarely do something, and never means you don't do at all. Okay, so those are frequency adverbs, which means it expresses how often something happens. Okay, so these are the words or the adverbs that we can take under adverbs of frequency. So look at here, we can divide adverbs of frequency into two types. One is adverbs of definite frequency, which are placed before the main verb, and the others are the adverbs of indefinite frequency, which are placed normally at the end of the sentence. So adverbs of definite frequency means these adverbs are definite, which means it tells you a definite time. For an example, if I say something like I am paid hourly, for something that I do. Okay, so which means it gives a definite time. It says the frequency hourly means පැයකට. So it says something definite time. But if I say I am paid always. If I say something like always, I took the same example because you can relate it then. Or if I take always, then that doesn't tell you a definite time. You don't know when. Always means, is it per day or is it per hour? You don't know that. Okay, so it's indefinite frequency. So adverbs of frequency, you can divide it into two. One is adverbs of definite frequency and indefinite frequency. Okay, so can you come up with answers for like examples for definite frequency and indefinite frequency? Yes. Yes, can you come up with answers? What are some adverbs that you can use under definite frequency? If I say like annually, අවුරුද්දකට සැරයක්. So annually. Okay, so if I say per month, මාසෙකට සැරයක්. So that is definite. Per hour. Okay, so those are definite frequency, and indefinite frequency, all you studied here under the chart I have given belong to adverbs of indefinite frequency, because they are not definite. You don't understand the exact time, the exact frequency. Okay, so I hope you got it. So there's an activity as well. So can you answer me? Our lecturer is never late for the lessons. She blank works on time. You can add fill the gaps with, sorry?
Always.
Always, good. Next, I blank. Yes, clean my room, but today I could not. Yes.
Usually.
Okay, I usually clean my room, but today I could not. Okay, my sister blank bunk classes She is keen in her studies. Bunk means you cut classes, you don't go for classes, okay. So, that is bunk. My sister,
Often.
my sister often bunk classes, she is keen in her studies. Two opposite ideas, which means if you add often, the two ideas are opposite. If you want to make it like, if you want to make similar ideas, what can you add? Which adverb can you add? Sorry?
Never.
My sister never bunk classes.
Never.
Good.
Never.
She is keen in her studies. Okay, next one. My mother.
Never.
My mother never brings junk food. Okay, or else you can say my mother rarely brings junk food because it is unhealthy. Okay. So, actually I am sorry, for this third sentence you have to have an S at the end of bunk, B-U-N-K-S, okay. So, make sure you add S. Okay, next one, we blank play football if we find many friends to play.
We rare.
Sorry,
Rare.
I can't hear you properly. Can you repeat it once again?
We rare play football.
Okay, we rarely play football if we find many. We rarely play, you said rarely. We rarely play football if we find many friends to play. You can add rarely, or else you can even add something like sometimes. We sometimes play football if we find many friends to play. Okay, good. Okay, so we will move on. You can do the other two after the session. Okay, next is adverbs of degree. So, degree means to what extent something happened. Okay, to what extent something happens. You always say like it's not the measurement, how much you do something or to what extent. Okay, so look at the definition. An adverb of degree expresses the degree or intensity of an adjective. Okay, intensity means like how much, verb, adjective, verb or adverb. Look at the examples. Amali is absolutely beautiful. So, how beautiful she is described by the adverb, degree adverb absolutely. He thought deeply about it. How much did he think about it? He thought deeply. The adverb deeply describes to what extent or how much he thought about it. The next one, this student just completed the task. Okay, it's like just is also a degree adverb, like it's also the intensity or the degree. Okay, just now. Okay, she did her part well. To what extent did she do her part, like how much was she dedicated to do her part. So, she did it well means she have done it really good. So, it describes like the degree or the to what extent something happens. So, you have some degree adverbs as well. Okay. So, the final is adverbs of place. Adverbs of place sometimes called spatial adverbs. Okay, a synonym for adverbs of place is spatial adverbs. So, they explain where action happens, a place where an action happens. These adverbs of place associated with the action of the verb in a sentence provide context for direction, distance and position, which means an adverb of place can be a direction or else it can be a distance and also it can be a position. So, when I say an adverb of place, it should belong to one of these three contexts. So, normally adverbs of place do not end with the two letters ly. So, you can remember that. So, can you give me some examples for adverbs of place which denote direction, which shows direction? Yes? Any answers? Yes? If I say something like south, west, and you have south, west, north, east, all these are directions. Okay, so that can be, and even if you say south, west, north, east, so remember those are adverbs of place because it denotes the direction. And distance, if you say far from, close, near, okay, so like direction and yeah, distance, far, close, near, okay, so those are distance. And position is like we can also consider these prepositions as adverbs of place, prepositions like on, okay, above, like below, what else, upstairs. So these are also adverbs of place, and remember they don't end with ly, usually they don't. Okay, and the final is adverbs of time. So don't get confused with these adverbs of time and frequency. They are two different things. Frequency means how much, how often something happens, but time is that denotes a specific time. Okay, so look at the definition. Adverbs of time, while seemingly similar to adverbs of frequency, tell us when something happens. It denotes the specific time, exact time. Adverbs of time are usually placed at the end of the sentence. They are placed at the end of the sentence. For example, I will meet you later. Later is an adverb of time. So it denotes like later. When I say later, it's like time. Okay, it doesn't say a specific or an exact time, but you don't know when later is, but it's a time. So it can be a specific time and sometimes it can not be. So here it's not specific. So next one is he forgot to do his homework yesterday and again today. So you have specific time here. He forgot yesterday and today. So yesterday, today are adverbs of time. And look at the next point. While it's almost always correct to have the adverb of time at the end of the sentence, you can also place it at the beginning, okay, or else at the start of the sentence when you want to highlight or emphasize the time. If you want to emphasize or highlight the time, then you can always take this adverb of time to the beginning of the sentence. You can see it in the example. Last year was the worst year of my life. Tomorrow our fate will be sealed. Okay, so tomorrow and last year you have it at the beginning of the sentence because you want to highlight the time. Okay, I hope you got it, and you have here some examples for adverbs of time. You can take a look into it, and here I have given a common description like the type of adverb can always be determined by asking the following questions. If it is a manner adverb, you can always ask how something happens. If you ask the question how something happens, your answer will provide you context for this one of the manner adverbs. Frequency adverbs, if you ask the question how often, then you get the answer, and that answer will be a frequency adverb. To what extent, you can ask this question if you want to come up with the answer, which is a degree adverb. Where, when you ask where, you will come up with an adverb of place, and then when means adverbs of time. So you can remember these 5 questions. Okay, so you have a final activity. This is there are many words. So actually, as I remember, I have taken 100 words. So what I want you to do is, now you have learned different word classes, though I have in detail explained 4 word classes I gave you, and when I was doing the 4 word classes, I told you what are the definitions, and I described you the other word classes in simple words as well. So what I want you to do is try to put these words into different categories. So I hope you remember the different categories. So try to put these words into different categories that you learned. You have nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, pronouns, enumerators, interjections. Yeah, so you have like that many parts of speech. So try to categorize these words. Okay, so first word, now. What type of a word is it? To which category can you include it? to which category can you include the word now? Sorry? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so can you answer to which category you can include the word now? Yes?
Adverb.
It's an adverb. Okay, it's a adverb of time, what we learned just now. Okay, good. Next one, quickly. Quick.
Adverb.
Yeah, adverb of manner. Okay, it's also an adverb. Next, car. Car.
Noun.
Noun. It's a noun. Okay, good. So it can be a common noun because for all the cars that you find in the world, you say car. Okay, so you name it with a name and you say car. Okay, on.
Preposition.
Very good. Preposition. Okay, and also you can consider it as an adverb as well, because you can say on the table. So it denotes the place. So it's an adverb of place. Okay, it is mainly included in the group of prepositions. Good. Book.
No.
Noun.
Good. Watery.
Verb.
Verb. Watery.
Adjective.
It's an adjective. Okay, so you can describe a noun with this adjective watery. It's not a verb because you can't put this, you can't denote tense here, you can't agree with this with a subject, so it's not a verb, remember. Okay, sad.
Adjective.
Hard. Hard.
Adjective.
Good. I.
Pronoun.
Pronoun, and which kind of a pronoun is it? Subject, object, or what?
Subject.
Subject pronoun. You can replace the subject. Okay, good. Me.
Object pronoun.
Objective pronoun.
Object pronoun. Yeah, very good. He. Subject pronoun. They.
Subject.
Good. Okay. One. One. What is one?
Enumerators.
Enumerators. It can, yeah, you can include under enumerators. And what kind of, like you can divide it into cardinal and ordinal. Yes? Cardinal, not ordinal, cardinal. Or if it is ordinal, it should be first. This is one. Okay. And but. Yes?
Conjunction.
Conjunctions. Okay. Conjunctions. We call them coordinating conjunctions because we join two sentences. And friendly.
Adverb.
Adverb.
Friendly adverb. Okay. Or
Conjunction.
thing.
Noun.
Noun.
Na,
Beauty.
verb.
No, thing is
Adjective.
not a verb. Okay. Beauty.
Adjective.
Adjective.
No.
Noun.
No. Beautiful is the adjective. What is this beauty? It's like,
Beauty. Noun.
sorry? Noun. It's a noun because I remember I taught you honest, and we say honesty, and honest is the adjective, honesty is the noun, as well as here beautiful is the adjective, beauty, the beauty. We can say the beauty. We can add an article before this noun beauty. So we cannot add articles before adjectives like beautiful. We cannot say the beautiful, but we can add an determiner or an article before beauty, the beauty. Okay. When?
Adverb.
Sorry?
Adverb.
No. When is a conjunction.
Conjunction?
Yeah, it's a conjunction where you can join two sentences or two phrases. Okay. Conjunction. And then can.
Verb.
Verb. What kind of a verb is it?
Model verb.
Model auxiliary. Model auxiliary. Good. Fast.
Adverb.
Sorry. Fast. Adverb. Okay. Adverb. We don't add ly, remember. Today.
Adverb.
Adverb. Okay. It's an adverb of time. Okay. Next, shall.
Model verb.
Verb.
Model auxiliary. Okay. Man.
Noun.
Common noun. Could.
Model
Verb.
She.
verb,
Pronoun.
subject pronoun,
She, what is she? Subject pronoun.
subject pronoun,
Have
verb,
verb. What kind of a verb is it?
Primary verb.
Primary auxiliary. Okay, have primary auxiliary. Behind
preposition,
preposition. Behind preposition, and even you can consider it as a adverb of place. Be, to be.
verb,
Verb. It's the
Verb.
primary auxiliary and the base form. Be. Okay. Do,
verb,
primary auxiliary. Okay.
Verb.
Thought.
verb,
Thought. Look at here. Thought. You can consider it as a noun as well. Okay. Remember, you can consider it as a noun as well. Her thought. Her thoughts. Her thoughts. My thoughts made me cry. So it's a noun as well. I thought that he is a good boy. So then, yeah, you can take it as a noun as a and verb as well. Will. Sorry. Will. Model auxiliary. Okay. Water.
noun,
His.
No. adjective pronoun,
Okay, so I'll move to the next row. What is what is so?
conjunction,
Conjunction. Okay, and what is because?
Conjunction.
Conjunction. Okay, what is third? Third in the next row. One before the final. Third, what is it?
Numerator.
Numbers.
Enumerators, okay, and it's a ordinal number, okay, ordinal number, okay. What is ouch?
Interjection.
Yeah, it's an interjection because it denotes, like, it shows a feeling, emotion. Okay, all. What is all? I told you words like every, some, because you can add it as a determiner in the front beginning. All, some, every, each, all these are determiners. So what is all?
determiner,
A determiner, okay. And then seem. What is seem?
verb,
Verb, and which kind of a verb is it?
past participle,
No, I'm asking whether it's a lexical verb or is it an auxiliary verb?
Auxiliary.
auxiliary,
Sorry? It's. Can you repeat the answer? It's a lexical verb. Do you remember I told you it can be taken as a linking verb? She seems beautiful. It appears good. So it's a linking verb. It belongs to lexical verbs. Okay, and okay, so second you can, okay, fine. So that's the final activity for the second session of your pre-intensive course. And if you have any questions, you can ask. So before that, I'll summarize the lesson. So today what you learned is parts of speech or word classes. Okay, so I have taught you the open word classes, which means nouns, verbs, adjectives, and then adverbs. And I have given you a brief introduction or a brief description about all the other word classes as well. I hope you can find other word classes. I mean, if you see any sentence, if a word in any sentence, you can identify the category now. So to learn to study or to know English and to speak English and also to write English, you need these word classes, because you make sentences with the use of these word classes. If you don't know the word classes, you don't know where to place the word class and as what does it as what does it function. So now you know that. So if you have any questions, you can raise it now, and that's it for today. for your second session of the pre-intensive course. Okay, hope you understood it clearly. Is it clear for all of you? Is the lesson clear for all of you? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. Okay, fine. So that's the end of the second session, and you will be joining on another day for the third session as well. So have a nice day, and I'm waiting to see you at the university premises. So we'll meet soon, and have a nice day and have a nice time until then. Goodbye.
Thank you, madam.